there, thanks so much for joining. I'm about to share all of my secrets to a healthy, beautiful tortoise shell. Yep, I'm about to spill it. I'm gonna spill all the secrets and let you know. And if you think that Tilly G has a beautiful, healthy shell, then I want you to know how I did it. And these are my best tips and tricks. I had my first tortoise when I was just a little girl, and ever since then I've had a passion for tortoises, all reptiles, all animals. I love them all, and I became passionate about rescue and adoption. And so when I got the space and had a yard, I then adopted Tilly G from the Humane Society. He's a rescue tortoise that had a cracked shell when he was very tiny. He was very sick with a respiratory infection, and the amazing vets at the Humane Society basically saved his life. Oh, there's a dandelion, sweetie. And so he was just a tiny little guy, and now he is 8 years old. I adopted him when he was right about 1, and he's grown about 80 pounds, and he's 8 years old. He just turned 9 in December, but he's a baby, and he's gaining about 10 pounds a year, which don't compare to yours because that's pretty astronomical growth. So he's going to be a big boy. He's going to be pretty epic, and he's already pretty epic. He's going to be about 150 to 200 pounds. And so anyway, enough of that. That's the background on Tilly G the tortoise. And the G, yes, is very important. And so now you're probably wondering, what are the tips to a healthy, beautiful, smooth shell? So first of all, I should probably explain to you that if ever you see other tortoises and they have lumps and bumps on their shell, I see a lot of lumps, usually in the back or in the side or in the front. And if you see a lot of lumps and bumps, that's called pyramiding, hence the name. Like a pyramid, those bumps emerge, and that is not the way they should be in their natural habitat. They should have a really smooth shell, like Tilly G. And these right here are growth lines, so it means he's still growing. And like I said, he's growing about 10 pounds a year. So the secret to a healthy, beautiful shell is to prevent pyramiding, or those lumps and bumps on a tortoise shell. So let me share with you my first tip. Are you ready? Tip number 1. And it's going to surprise you probably. Can you guess it? Tip number 1, humidity. Humidity is so important, especially when they are small baby tortoises. They need a night house that is humid, and by that I mean more than 50% humidity. So that's my first tip. They need to maintain a humid space, especially a night house. So tip number 2 to a healthy, beautiful shell. You might know this already. Well, maybe not. These are really, well, I call them secrets, but no one really follows it. Okay, here's a secret to a healthy, beautiful shell with no lumps and bumps, no pyramiding. Number 2, diet. You need to make sure that they are grazing on grass for hours each day. That means they need tons of space to graze. Just imagine they're like little tiny cows that like to graze on grass. And by that, I mean you need to limit their veggies. Absolutely no fruit. Maybe once a year I give him fruit, like for 4th of July, but mainly I give him like the rind of a watermelon. So that is just as important. Absolutely no protein. These guys are herbivores. Oh, and I should also mention that he's a sulcata tortoise, otherwise known as an African spurred tortoise. It gets a name spurred by, look at his little booty. See those little spurs? So that's really important. And that's the hardest tip of everyone to follow, I think, because it's so kind of tempting to want to just feed him as many snacks as possible. And yes, it's fun, and yes, he loves it, but it's not really doing them any service. It's kind of like pizza. Yes, you can eat it every day, but it's gonna catch up with you sooner or later if you eat it every day. And yes, it's delicious. So that's my tip number 2, which sounds easy, but I don't see a lot of people doing it. I see a lot of people feeding grocery store items, which are really not good for them. And I'll do it too as an occasional snack. But my secret is that it's usually after he's been grazing on grass for about 4 to 6 hours a day. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Are you ready for tip number 3? Let's see. TVG. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to sneak up behind you. These guys don't like being snuck up on. I'm sorry, big guy. Okay, so tip number 3. This is another hard one that not everyone knows about, and it's hard to implement. Tip number 3 to a beautiful, healthy shell: space. These guys need space. They need to roam and graze and stretch their legs. It means not having a confined space for them. They need extra space. They need thousands and thousands of square feet of space to roam and graze. And yeah, that's a hard one, right? It's really hard if you don't have a lot of space. So, if you have an apartment right now, wait until you get more space. And if you think you can get away with taking them to a park, you really can't, because parks, all the grass has pesticide, a lot of toxic things that are not good for them. So you really need a lot of space. So those are my top 3 tips. I've got more tips to a healthy, beautiful shell. So let me know in the comments if you want more tips on how to have a tortoise with a healthy, beautiful shell. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. And Tilly G's just gonna keep on grazing here for a few more hours. So maybe we'll just watch him, because it's so fun to watch him. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and ask me any questions you want. I love answering questions. Who's this beautiful boy? Who's this beautiful boy? Say, this is how I grow so big and healthy. This is it. This is the secret. Oh, you love those clovers, don't you?